up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Slayin It with Radio podcast. I am your host, Radio Slay. If you haven't listened to this podcast before, they are extremely quick. They're only about 10 minutes or so long, and we cover everything, including live sports, video games, pop culture. You name it, we will cover it. Today's episode has to deal with the fact that it is getting warmer outside. Summer is right around the corner, so that means people are hitting the pools and the beach. They're doing grilling, having barbecues. And for a large specific group of people, they're breaking out their motorcycles. So we're going to talk about motorcycles in this episode. And I am a motorcycle rider. I've been riding for about 10 years. And just to kind of give a little bit of my history and how I got into riding a motorcycle, it kind of just randomly came to me one day. It wasn't something when I was young and I was always excited about, riding motorcycles, and I had some kind of infatuation with motorcycles. No, it just kind of randomly hit me one day that I wanted to give it a try because it looked like it was a lot of fun. And I took the course at the local community college where I live. And, once you complete the course where I live in my state, they give you a certificate and then you get your motorcycle's license. So, in the course itself, they teach you like all the little basics. They walk you through it. I actually enjoyed it. So anybody who is thinking about getting their motorcycle license, I would look into programs like that. I don't know. It may vary from state to state. It was really nice for me who didn't have a lot of background in motorcycles, how to ride one, all the ins and outs of it. They really walked you through at a good pace to, teach you everything about it. So definitely recommend that. But I got my motorcycle's license. And it's funny because in the course, you go maybe max 15 miles per hour, and obviously a controlled environment. There was a closed off parking lot where we did all the practicing, turning the bike on, going in circles and making your turns and all that good stuff. And then when I went to go buy my first motorcycle, I get on, and, after I did all the paperwork, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm about to go in the real world on a motorcycle. I've never done this before. So it was a little scary my first ride, going out there, and all of a sudden, you're going 35, 45, 50 miles per hour. Feel like you're going 2,000 miles per hour. It was such an adrenaline rush of like just excitement, fear, all kind of wrapped up in one ball. But it truly is a lot of fun. I enjoy it for the fact that you can get out there, and where I live, I'm very fortunate because not only can I do some, if I want to go to, like kind of city riding, or if I want to like go and, stop and grab a bite to eat or, whatever, I can do that. Or I can go back roads and see like the country. So I have that option. Again, very fortunate enough to where I live, I can do either or depending on what my mood is or what's going on. But it's awesome, especially when you go out in the countryside and just see all like the environment. Because when you're driving in a car, typically, unless you have like a nice sports car or convertible or something, you go to travel, right? You're going from point A to point B. You don't really care what's around. You just want to get to the grocery store. You want to get to the restaurant or your friend's house or your father's house, whatever it is. And you don't really kind of notice like the environment, and especially, and again, you're enclosed in a vehicle. You can only see like certain amount through the window or the windshield. But with the motorcycle, you see everything. You can look around, you see all your surroundings, and it's awesome. And the wind's blowing in your face, and it's hard to describe the feeling. So if you've ever been either a rider or a passenger, I'm telling you, if you get that opportunity, it's a lot of fun. With that fun, obviously there are risks. It can be scary, as I mentioned earlier, and because you don't have that protection like a car, you're not wrapped around this giant metal container that can absorb a lot of damage should something hit you, most notably another car, but other things too, like animals or, telephone poles, things like that. So you have to be really, really aware. And aware of your surroundings. We're in the day of age of cell phones, and unfortunately people are driving distracted, whether they're texting or they're just really into their music or they're talking with somebody else. It's unfortunate, but you have to pay attention to them, and as I mentioned, everything else that's around you. And I'm constantly like looking everywhere while I'm riding. to make sure that I know what's going on. I'm aware of certain things coming my way or potentially that could come my way, so I can make those maneuvers. Um, Case in point, I have been in a motorcycle accident before. It's not a major one, but I was riding with a couple friends, and uh, a car was making a left turn, and there was two lanes, and I was in the further right lane. And as you should be doing when you make a left turn, you should go into the left lane. Well, this truck decided to do like which many cars do, unfortunately, take it wide, and because he needed to be in the right lane and just go wide to the right, and he didn't see me, so I could either continue going and slam into the back of his truck, or B, put the bike down and take the damage myself, which I did. Kind of hit the brakes and just got up the bike. I suffered a sprained wrist, pretty bad sprained wrist. Couldn't move it for a couple weeks. Messed up my knee pretty badly, scraped it all up, and I definitely hit my head on the concrete because I remember feeling that impact. And I'm going to go on a side thing for a minute because I know not every state mandates that you wear a helmet. If I didn't wear a helmet, I don't even know where I'd be. I might not be alive at this point because I cannot imagine people riding motorcycles without helmets. So please, please, at least wear a helmet. I mean, so they make some pretty cool ones now. So I even if they didn't mandate helmets, I'd still wear one for the fact that I think they look pretty cool. But in any event, that's where we have to be aware as motorcycle riders. And I really feel like it's made me a better driver of cars and trucks. So, I'm constantly looking out for those motorcycles. They're hard to see sometimes. I'm looking for everything. Where there are potentially kids running around. I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of little kids. Or is there a dog loose somewhere? A deer. All those type of things. I think when you ride a motorcycle, it heightens your awareness that much more because you want to make sure you know where everything's coming. So, you know, for those that don't ride motorcycles, again, think of that. Think of the motorcycle, especially when it's warmer out. There's gonna be a lot more motorcycles out there. Um, Now on the flip side, I know a lot of times there's a small group of people that give motorcycle riders a bad name. There are those, I'm gonna call them idiots that decide to go 120 plus miles per hour weaving through traffic. I don't endorse that whatsoever. I think it's dumb. I get the fact that people love to live on the edge and they love that speed. But you got to think for yourself, your own well being. You got to think of others. And it's just crazy. So not all of us are like that. I'm pretty much the safest, I think, like most cautious motorcycle rider out there. I'm going the speed limit, maybe a little bit under. I let people pass me if they need to look like they need to go somewhere. But again, if you're one of those riders out there, please reconsider. Don't try to keep it more reasonable. Don't break the triple digits. There's no reason to go triple digits unless you're out on a controlled racing course out there. I also encourage people, again, the protective equipment. We talked about the helmets already. After my accident, I got everything. So I got like the special motorcycle, like they look like jeans, but they actually have like the Kevlar in the jeans, the jacket, the gloves, everything. So I don't care if it's 50 degrees or 90 degrees. I am wearing everything just to make sure I can protect myself the best I can. But most importantly, I think it's about having fun, right? It's about having fun out there. Just be as safe as you possibly can. Be as aware as you possibly can, and then again, just shout out to anybody out there. If you're a motorcycle rider or car operator, cyclist, doesn't matter. Just make sure you're looking out for everybody else. So we want to make sure everybody comes home to their families in one piece. But I don't get to do it as much as I like to, but I definitely enjoy it. So again, if you ever have that opportunity or if you have that itch, check it out. You might enjoy it. So, but love to hear what your thoughts are. For you motorcycle riders out there, do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree? For those that don't ride motorcycles, what are your thoughts about motorcycle riders? Love to hear all comments, whether they're the good, the bad, and everything in between. So again, leave a comment down in the comment section. You can check out my socials as well. Please drop a follow there, a subscribe, or like. Love to hear from you. I know I'm not active on Twitch right now, but feel free to drop a follow there as well whenever I do decide to go back live. And anything else you want me to talk about, throw that in the comments as well. If I have some kind of experience with it, I'll be more than happy to cover that in a future episode. But guys, we are just about out of time. Again, as I mentioned, it is getting warmer out there, so please, please, please drink that water, stay hydrated, and remember to do something nice for someone. And then just a quick thing, because I know it's coming up this weekend. Please remember all the fallen military members who protected our country, the United States of America. Or if you're listening outside the country, I'm sure your military has done some good things for them. So make sure that you remember them this upcoming Monday. For what they did for our country to keep us safe, so we're allowed to ride motorcycles and have those barbecues and going to the beach and spending time with your family and your loved ones. So shout out to all those that are serving. But we'll catch you on the next time on the next episode of Slaying It with Radio.